Conor McGregor has been civilly convicted of a sexual allegation. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fight Franchise and a look into the future of Conor McGregor's MMA and fighting career, and after what has happened in his court verdict in a case which has been 6 years in the making, whether or not he is going to ever compete in mixed martial arts again. So I'm going to give a kind of breakdown of what's kind of taken place over the last kind of 6 years, and then kind of a little bit of insight into the court case. I haven't looked into it much. I'm not a journalist, and I'm also not a legal expert. I'm just a guy who likes to just talk about MMA and talk about fight content, and I'm just going to kind of break down the brief synopsis of the court case and then what I see going forward for Conor McGregor's fighting future. Is it optimistic, or does it just look bleak as hell and there is no coming back from this? So October 6, 2018, Conor McGregor faces Khabib Nurmagomedov at UFC 229. He loses that fight, and his kind of aura at that point had been shattered. He had lost before then in the UFC to Nate Diaz, but and lost to Mayweather, where he won hundreds of millions. But against Khabib, it was a very, very, personal fight, and there was a lot brewing and a lot on the line there, and a lot of back and forth with the dolly throw, insults at each other's family and this, that and the other. And he ended up losing the fight. And then after the fight, all the drama afterwards. After that, 2 months after that, McGregor, he's got all the money in the world after the Khabib and Mayweather fight. He's a bit of a party animal, and he's going out doing drugs. And he goes out on a party with Nikita Hand, who is a lady in the Dublin area who he's familiar with. They go out on a party, and him and McGregor and his friend, I believe his name is James Lawrence, and Nikita Hand and her friend, they go back to a hotel room where, things happen in this hotel room. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but sex between both parties and whatnot happens. And then eventually, a couple of weeks, or I think it's a week after or so, Nikita says to the Irish, I think, police, she says, I was sexually assaulted by Conor McGregor, and nothing kind of grew off that. But, we've always heard these allegations. I swear at one point there was a woman on McGregor's yacht and she had to jump off the yacht and swim to safety or something like that. So he's had these allegations and rumours about, and if you look into people who actually live within Ireland, they've kind of heard these rumours coming about. It's just for us who don't live in that sector of Ireland and actually hear the rumours on the daily basis, we're kind of a bit blind to it. I think we've been very ignorant to, Conor's mishaps outside of the octagon. But this is the one where now all eyes are open, and why everyone's commenting and why everyone's viewing, because when a judge says, yeah, you're guilty and you have to pay criminal damages, then we all look and go, oh crap, he's done something. And then at the time, I think they refuted the claim because there wasn't enough evidence. Nikita Hand, fought the case and has managed to get this case into a civil case, so not a criminal case. So McGregor, off the ruling of this, yes, he's guilty, but he can't go to prison. He has to pay criminal damages. And the verdict from the jury is that Conor McGregor has been found guilty of hurting this woman, sexually assaulting this woman, and essentially raping this woman. Off the back of this, there has been a huge windfall from, the MMA media, the kind of fight game, and what's going to be next for Conor. For so long we've been waiting since the Dustin Poirier loss. When's he coming back? There's been rumours. Everybody, how often at a Dana White press conference they go, oh, when are we looking to see Conor McGregor back? And I'm going to get into that later. But he is still the biggest star in the MMA world, no matter what. He's been out of the game for how many years, but he will still outsell any fighter on earth. The only fighter who comes close is probably Jake Paul, but he's doing gimme fights, you know what I mean? McGregor is the biggest star in combat sports alive today, even with all this crap going on. So he's a huge name to talk about. So the verdict's taken place. He's found guilty. I'm just going to kind of break down some recent tweets that's happened. So because he's gone on a bit of a Twitter tirade after the verdict. So at first the verdict was given, and I think he said the following. He said, "I'm disappointed that the jury did not hear all the evidence that the DPP reviewed. I'm with my family now, focused on my future." So kind of that kind of normal kind of response, the political response, right after the verdict, let's not throw any more fuel on the fire. Now, McGregor, well, let's just be honest, he's a bit of a hothead, and he's thrown a lot of fuel on the fire, it seems. So he's put out a series, about 3 tweets. One of the biggest ones he's put out is this: 2 men falsely accused, one vindicated, the other soon to be. So McGregor believes he is gonna... McGregor, by the way, has appealed the case. I don't think there was any point, because you're not going to win it, because they're not going to switch their verdict now, because this is too huge of a win for the Irish kind of court and media to go, okay, you know what, we've made our verdict, we're not going to switch it now. So he's doing it because he can, he's got the money to, but it is pointless, he ain't going to win that. Congrats, James Lawrence, on absolute exoneration. Twice the heinous accusation was put to you, twice it was shown as false lies. He's saying that because James, who was also in a similar situation, being accused of something, if he's being exonerated, Conor McGregor's looking at it, why am I not being exonerated as well? It's absolutely disgraceful what they put you through here. Disgraceful. I look forward to seeing you further vindicate yourself and lambast those responsible in court. We know what happened that night. Everyone present knows, yet it was ignored. Every single statement of persons present on that night was ignored. And they all disputed Nikita's lies. However, James, they did believe you, but just in certain parts for some strange reason, and they apparently did not believe Danielle Keeley at all. Laughable. Danielle Keeley, I believe, was the other girl on the night, and she went against, I believe, what Nikita said. I'm not going to go into too much details on why I wasn't there, I wasn't present, and haven't looked into the court case too much, but her friend is disputing the claims while Nikita's won the trial, so she's been through a lot. Just, it is what it is. Also, with the damages, 60k and 188k, interesting choice of figures. It seems they didn't believe Nikita much either. How could they? Her original story was she was ganged by security and chased from the hotel on foot. Absolute nonsense how these lies were accepted. I will never know. A court of feeling and opinion, brainwashed into people via the mainstream media, not a fact. The reporting in court a laughingstock to everyone present, as clear as day, bias. This is not a court of hard evidence and truth. This is a kangaroo court of opinions and feelings. We are not done yet, not by a long shot, no chance. On we fight. Justice and truth will prevail. Appeal, as well as others. Congrats, James. Onwards and upwards. So that tweet tells me he's not done with this case. Appeal. So you're probably not going to see him in the octagon going forward. Some of his peers have spoken out. Conor McGregor's big rivals have kind of tweeted. Somebody put out a tweet of Dustin Poirier KOing Conor McGregor, saying thank you, and Diamond just retweeted it, showing his side. Khabib, I know he's had his background with Conor McGregor, just retweeted an article saying the Irish court finds him guilty. Mike Perry reacted, saying you're fired, to give light to when Conor McGregor fired him from BKFC. Jake Paul put, Dana hits his wife, Conor's convicted of rape, but I'm the bad guy. And Conor responded with a homophobic slur. And also Islam Makhachev went at Conor McGregor as well, lambasting him on this. So, it is not looking good for Conor McGregor. It is honestly the thing with Conor McGregor. His ego and his mania is just through the roof now, to the point where he's just going to react and bite on everything. He's not that calm guy who was coming up, who was... I remember, as Nate Diaz said, playing touch putt in the park, who was, flow state and all this kind of stuff. He's just a hothead on a rage, and maybe that's all the TRT or HGH he's been on, or whether or not it's just all the drugs that he's been on, or the alcohol. He's just on a power trip, but he's just lost it. And the windfall of this is going to be bad, because you look at all the brands he's a part of. You got the Threads of Kings, McGregor Fast, Tidal body spray, Forged Irish Stout, which he has been pushing like crazy as of recent, saying it's in Asda, it's in Tesco, I believe, it's in all these British supermarket chains. And I think it was coming. Conor McGregor at Christmas time is a huge salesman. You see him make proper Irish 12, adverts at Christmas time and whatnot. And then in the supermarkets, they'll have like the cutout stand, the cardboard cutout of Conor McGregor. And then on the long side will be his alcohol, whatever it is, just selling it. No supermarket brand off the back of this is going to want his kind of alcohol there and his posters up there. You're going to probably see a lot of his brands, doing bad business now and that kind of forward. You got Proper 12. I think he sold his share in it, I believe. So he has got the money from that, but that could slowly tank after the back of this. Because when you look at the people who are his biggest fans, that kind of Irish kind of cult and the kind of UK cult who loved him, but off the back of this, like, pubs might just be like... I remember there was an incident that happened recently where it may have been he hit someone or done something, and they were pouring his whiskey down the toilet. They were like, yeah, we don't want it. It was some certain pubs. So pubs might be like, nah. And then you look at the Black 4 Gin, his own establishment. How many people want to go there now? Because, yes, I'm from the UK, but you've got fans all around the world. This isn't as big for them. For Ireland, he is apparently vilified and not liked at all. The Black 4 Gin, that's going to probably tank because the Irish people going there now, it look bad on them. The only people who will go to the Black 4 Gin are devout supporters of him or Conor's friends and family. So certain businesses of his are going to tank. You go, the BKFC, are they going to want to keep him around? He's bought a huge stake. He's he was, I gave him such props. There was a fight that they had recently. He gave like a big speech at the start of the show, like promoter Conor, and did brilliant. And then now off the back of this, are the BKFC going to want him around? It's so many of his brands are in, and rightfully so, they're in tatters because, he's kind of caused himself this mess. But the big one in question is the UFC. Will Dana White keep him? And for years, I've thought, Dana White, what are you doing with Conor McGregor? Why are you shelving him so much? But it kind of makes sense. Dana White, every time at a press conference, he'll get asked, oh, Dana, what do you think of Conor McGregor? When will we see Conor McGregor return? And Dana will always respond with, he's got 100 millions in the bank. He isn't going to want to return. And that's always been his response. And it's like Dana White's always knew something like this was about to come up. You go, if this was the Fertitta and Dana era, I would say there's a likelihood he's going to come back. But because it's Hunter Campbell, because there's TKO, you look at Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is WWE. Vince McMahon is the name of WWE. He built it. He created it. He's had this huge scandal happen. Bye. Because TKO have taken over, and TKO's share prices and stock value is huge importance to them. Once I think the Endeavour Group is in there as well, but it's a huge conglomerate of big people and a lot of money invested. Once Vince's scandal came through, Vince is huge. He is WWE. Once they found out his scandal was there, off you pop. Now, Conor McGregor isn't that hugely associated with the UFC as in terms of a brass figure, but if you go on the street now and go, Conor McGregor, do you know who he is? Oh yeah, the UFC fighter. They don't say MMA fighter, they say the UFC fighter because his name is synonymous with that brand. And I know a lot of people say, oh, John Jones has done XYZ as well. Yes, he has. And for whatever reason, we've kept him by. The UFC has kept him by. But if you go on the street and go to someone and say, do you know who John Jones is? What? 30% of people will go, oh yeah, he's the UFC champion. Most of the people won't know him. If you go on the street now and go, do you know who Conor McGregor is? Yeah, the UFC fighter. 85 to 95% of people will know who he is. Conor McGregor is a mega star compared to John Jones. They're not in the same realm when it comes to star power. That's why this will have a huge impact for the UFC taking him back. Because you look, the UFC, Conor McGregor's brands are going to tank, but the UFC has a lot of brands, partners. You got ESPN, who's the, broadcast dealer. I don't know if their broadcast deal's up, but going forward, will the new broadcast people want that Conor on the show? You've got all the sponsorships on the, octagon floor. Are they going to want to be associated with the Conor McGregor fight going forward? And I know it's kind of hypocritical because there's other fighters, and even Dana, slapped his wife. But it's just his name is at such a different level. And because he's got that stamp, convicted in court, guilty. I know it's not criminal, but guilty. I don't think it's unforgivable. And I know people are likening it to Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson was before our times, before social media. So we probably didn't know as much at the time. Everybody knows about this. And then when you hear that apparently, the Nikita, who was the lady who won the case, her, I think, boyfriend was attacked and her house got attacked with men in balaclava. Obviously, that's Conor McGregor and his people. So it's a real crazy time. It wouldn't surprise me if they just let his contract just lie there, the UFC, and go, we'll offer him a fight. Because they could literally do a pay-per-view for Conor McGregor. They may break even because of the loss of revenue from brand sponsors off the Conor McGregor fight. Yes, you'd probably make a crap ton of... Like, let's say, for example, okay, in the UK, you've got TNT Sports. Will the TNT Sports brand want to be associated with a pay-per-view with Conor McGregor going forward? Who knows? It's a very, very strange time for Conor McGregor. Not a strange time, he's brought it upon himself, but it's a very kind of, sad end to what was, at one point a prosperous MMA career and a fight career. From one point double champ, and next thing you know, you're threw it all away and just kind of ruined your own career for whatever reason. But I just think Dana White going forward, what's probably he's going to do, he's going to get asked this by the media at some point at our next big press conference. I don't think there's any Dana White Contender Series or any events he's going to attend, so he can get away with it. But he's going to be asked, and he's going to go, we'll just see how the events play out, and we'll see what we've got for Conor. We'll probably have nothing. Because what he'll most likely do is just give him Michael Chandler, hope Michael Chandler knocks him out and goes, there you go, everyone. Conor McGregor, got KO'd. You all got what you wanted to see. And they'll ask him what's next for Conor. He'll be like, we're done with him. We don't want him anymore. Which is crazy to think that, but that's probably what will happen, because Dana White was this guy's biggest fan. But it just is such a bad look to take him in now and have a pay-per-view for him and put him on the headliner. It's just the UFC now, they're big. The UFC are here. There's so much to lose now. There's so much at stake now. And second of all, the UFC doesn't even need him. Yeah, he'd be great. He'd make a pay-per-view year even better for pay-per-view sales. But do the UFC need him? No. They sell out shows constantly. They put on great fights. The brand itself is massive now. They don't need Conor McGregor anymore. And that's the kind of brilliance for them. They can just literally wipe their hands with it. Yeah, we're done with Conor. Conor can go fight in BKFC if he wants. He can host his own promotion. And it's just the fall off is unreal for Conor McGregor. But that's what I think happens with his MMA career going forward. I think at most he'll have one more fight in the UFC versus Chandler maybe, where the UFC are going to probably hope Chandler sparks him. And then off the back of that, once he loses, they'll go, okay, we're going to sever ties with him because he's got one fight left on his contract and we'll let him go do what he wants. But that's kind of my thoughts on the situation going forward for Conor McGregor. I just think there's like a 5-10% chance of coming back from this, because the other thing is you need to show remorse. You need to show your character's changed. You need to show when you go through these huge kind of bad situations, you're painted as a bad guy regardless. There was an example of a person, I can't remember off the top of my head, who's kind of been through something similar. Kobe Bryant, a lot of people were saying. And Kobe Bryant at the time, he went through something similar. I don't know the ins and outs. And he was found guilty of, I believe, a civil case as well. And then off the back of that, his lawyers advised him not to put out an article, and he did. And he said, okay, I kind of didn't know what consent was and all this, that and the other. And he put out a statement, and off the back of that, he became hugely popular. He showed sincerity. He changed his character, became a family man and whatnot. But you can paint him with Kobe Bryant or Conor McGregor or whoever it is with that picture if you'd like to. But Kobe changed and he became a superstar off the back of that. And I know Kobe was very young at the time and McGregor's at the tail end of his career. But McGregor, I don't think he'll change his tune and he won't change his attitude. He's just got the world. The money's gone to his head. He's got the power and he's just all guns blazing going forward, and he's going to go for everyone. But that's what I think. For him to win the public back over, he needs to change as a person, and I don't think he'll do that. So that's kind of my take on the Conor McGregor situation. I don't think the likely. I give him a 5-10% chance he fights in the UFC next year. If not, the Dana White next year will just wash his hands and go, Conor McGregor is a free agent and he can do what he wants. That's what I think goes forward with Conor McGregor. Let us know what you thought of the video. What do you think of Conor McGregor's situation? Do you just think he's done? Do you think there's nothing coming back from this one? What should he do next? Should he just live a life of a millionaire and just chill out and just kind of go in his yacht to Marbella every year? Or should he come back and fight and try and prove he still got it? Let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more MMA and fight content coming soon. We hope you enjoyed the video and we'll catch you in the next one.